Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I show you the mistakes in my games, hoping you don't make the same ones in yours. In today's video, I'm continuing the same game as the last one, and actually it's for this video that I really chose this game. The last one had a good example of that Joseki, but this is the video that's I guess, the meat of this game. All right, so I don't know if you remember, I did this exchange of this for this and this for this, which gives me some cutting points, and I shouldn't have done that, but it's not the end of the world. But black decided to punish me right away by cutting. And I'm not sure this is a wise cut. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's good, but it's black trying to create complications. Black knows, black's behind. All right, so I answered this way. Black extended. And I jumped ahead, and black extended again. And this is the first game problem. There will be 3 today, and I'll only suggest pausing once, but please feel free to pause on each of the 3 problems. So now you're white, it's your turn, and where would you play? Go ahead and pause if you like. Okay. So I'll show you the sequence I played in just a minute, but it started here because I read a not really complicated, but a variation in which I knew I was going to get something, and I thought this was pretty reasonable. Black doesn't have very many liberties, and I should be able to get something out of an exchange. So that's what I chose. But what should I have played? And this is where we get into thinking and how to think when you've got a 1 game. So in the first video, I gained a nice 30-point lead on the board. This was supposed to be black's corner, but now it's white's, and that gives me a big advantage in this game. And the way to think when you're in this situation is simplify. I want to simplify the game, and as white with a lead like this, you don't want to start new fights. You may have to answer if black is able to create a fight himself, but you as white, that's not your objective, is to make complications. Your objective is quite simply to simplify the game, and you should be able to hold the significant lead that you have. So this move that I played actually invites complications, right? So what happens if I just extend? And I asked black, do you want to eat these stones? And black says, why, yes I do. And then I just extend again, and it looks like black is swallowing A up, and that's it's unnatural for me. It's not easy to just do. If I figure if I can save those stones a day, I should save those stones a day. So this links back to a video I did not long ago called Shed Your Burdens. And A is now a burden. But it's an even better burden than in those other videos, because there's 2 really good reasons to give up A. Number 1, giving up A isn't a straight up loss, because A has already helped white. White managed to win this upper left hand corner because of A. A played a critical part in that, so it's already served a purpose. So once it's done that, then you can really consider letting it go. But it's bigger than that, because if you look, it's 5 stones, so that's 10 points if black captures it, and maybe all the points around it, so maybe it's worth 15 points for black to go ahead and eat A. Well, look at what white's doing with this straight shape. White is getting, well, at least 2 things. Number 1, all of white stones are connected and therefore safe. And number 2, all of these white stones are exerting influence all over the rest of the board. And I can't say I'm going to gain 15 points here, or 15 points here, or 15 points here. But with all that influence, some of it will surely turn to points. And that's the way to think of it. I don't know where my 15 points are coming from, but I'm probably losing nothing by giving up the stones a day. And as a matter of fact, I'm probably going to gain more than the 15. So simplify the game. Don't invite complications. Would be a really, really good approach. here. I hope that's clear. All right, let's get back to what I actually played. And we'll get into the second problem, which is a little more tactical. So black played here, I played here, and then black cut here. So if you were white, where would you play now? Okay, clearly I can't play here because then just black captures those stones. So what I played, and the reason I chose this variation, is I played this. And I figured this creates a mie situation where, and I always mispronounce that word, I think, but anyway, equivalent options, where I'm either going to capture these stones if black doesn't help them, or I'm going to capture these stones if black doesn't help them. So either way, I'm reasonably happy, right? I'm going to get one side or the other, and I thought that was good enough. And indeed, black captured here, and I captured these stones here. Well, here's an interesting way to look at this, though. Yeah, okay, I created a mie situation, but that was actually my mistake. I could have avoided the mie situation. And second, look at what black has done here. Black has sacrificed these stones to capture these. So black, I mean, if you go back just a few moves, to here, these black stones look kind of stupid, don't they? They're not doing black any good, assuming I'm alive on both sides. So these stones are a bit of a burden. And what black has done is creatively captured points here and shed his burden and did it in sente, because I have to come back and eat these stones. So black didn't care about these stones anymore and said, no, you go ahead and eat them. All right, let me come back to what I should have played. So my thinking was correct that this works, but it was incorrect in that there's a tsuji, very simple one, that means it wasn't even necessary. And that is, I could have played an Atari here, black moves out, I play another Atari, black moves out. Now black isn't threatening to capture this anymore, so now I can come back here and help this. So you see, it wasn't really a mie situation where I had to save one side or the other. I could save both. And at this point, the game is looking still really, really good for white, because now I've captured these stones, which makes these stones stronger, and this black group looks even sillier. I mean, yep, it's got a double Atari it can do, but all it's doing is cutting live groups. And really, having a string that's just cutting live groups is kind of bad and annoying for black. All right, so this would have been significantly better, but I didn't see the Atari sequence. That worked for me. Okay, so I played this, black played here, I captured, and then black played a ladder breaker, and which is also a big, big move on the right side. I respected the ladder breaker and captured, and then black came here laying claim to this. Now, again, the first variation that I showed where I just gave up the burden, look, I've given it up anyway, but this way I've given it up larger than the other way, and black is sort of between my groups, so this is clearly not as good as the variation I showed earlier. At any rate, I asked black, are you sure you really want to capture those? Black said, yes, I do. And so I haven't played as well as I could here, but white still has a lead, definitely, because the first corner was so big. All right, so this is the final problem of this video, and basically we reached a settling point. All the current battles are done, and I've won in the upper left. Black's caught up a little bit on the left-hand side, but white still has a lead. And basically all moves have been answered except for one, and that is earlier in the game I played A against black, and black tanuki. So I decided I want to take advantage of that. So this is the third problem. And if you were white, where would you play now? Okay, this is another case where I thought tactically and not strategically, and I thought completely wrong. And just in my head, I've drilled over the years that it's generally a bad idea to ignore A. And if black does ignore A, the reason it's a bad idea is white gets to double approach, right? And double approaching is an advantage for white. So I didn't give it much thought, and I just went ahead and played like this. But this is wrong for a few reasons, which I will get into in a minute. But first, let me show you the easier approach and the better approach that I should have taken. Where's the biggest part of the board? That's the question to ask. This is open and has some room for development, but is there a space where we can start making big points right away, right now? Yeah, now that I asked this question, it seems really obvious. The top is huge, and if I can move out with that A stone, it becomes even bigger because A gets safer. So if I just move like this, I mean, it's worth a lot of points. And it's counterintuitive for me. Again, I feel like I'm helping black get away with his mistake. He ignored my double approach, and therefore I should double approach, but now I'm just letting him make territory. But who's getting more territory? Admittedly, he's on the fourth line, so he's getting 3 or 6 points with every move, but how many points did I get with this? Right? I can even go further. I'm super thick. So I can knight's move and try to get ahead of black. And if black plays this way, again, yep, black's definitely getting points. He's getting, 3, 5, 6 points with every move. But what am I getting? Well, I'm getting more points than him, and all of my stones are basically connected, so I'm not creating complexity, and I'm securing a massive territory, and yeah, this would be just great. I mean, I can even continue this way and say to black, I'm going to take a corner. And if black doesn't answer, I probably will take his corner. So I'm not invading. I'm not choosing to fight. I'm just, here, black, you can have some territory. I'll take about the same amount, or in this case, maybe even more. But what are you going to do about it? And this forces black to try to create the complications. I hope that's clear. See, what I did with my move, as we go back, is I invited complications. I created it. And of course, black's not going to give up this stone, so he moved out. And I took the corner, and then black played here. So we can get into, well, at least 2 or 3 reasons why my chosen sequence was bad. So number 1, it lets black create complications by cutting. Number 2, I chose to go to the smaller part of the board, where black could have made 3, 6 points per move, but now I'm the one who's moving out in that direction. And number 3, I invited black into my house. Right? Black is really happy to come in here and reduce this area because it could have been so huge. So this sequence was just wrong on a bunch of levels. And I chose it because, well, it's just what I do. I chose it because if you've approached the 4-4 and he doesn't answer, you double approach. So that's tactical. Instead, I should have thought strategically. Okay. I think that's enough for this video. If we want a quick recap, the real theme of it is when you're ahead, simplify the game. Just keep simplifying. That doesn't mean throw away points or give away points, because if you do that, your opponent's going to start catching up. But it means if you have a way to maintain the current balance without starting new fights, you should do that. And I also, the other thing to see from this one was this interesting little tsuji of double Ataring this black group to make it so that black couldn't capture either of mine. A way I could have played a little bit better in the middle fight. Right, so white still has a lead, but I don't manage to keep it for very long at all, as you'll see in the next video. Thanks for watching.